There is a smell that will stop a person in their tracks at any market or auction in plain country, a warm, yeasty, buttery smell. And if you follow it, you will find a plain woman or a young girl twisting soft pretzels by hand, fresh from the oven, glossy and golden, and sprinkled with coarse salt. And there will be a line of people waiting for them because a fresh, soft Amish pretzel, warm in your hand, is one of the great simple pleasures this world has to offer. These are not the hard little pretzels from a bag. These are big, soft, chewy, tender pretzels, golden brown outside and soft as a pillow inside, brushed with butter and salted. And they are a treasure of plain country, sold at every market stand and made in every plain kitchen. And today I am going to teach you to make them yourself, the whole thing, with the amounts exact. And I promise you, the smell alone will bring your whole family running. Let me tell you a little about the pretzel and our people because there is a real connection there. The pretzel came to Pennsylvania with the German speaking settlers long ago, our own forebears among them, and it took deep root in this soil. Pennsylvania became the pretzel heart of this whole country. And the soft pretzel, especially, became a beloved plain treat and a plain livelihood too. For many, a plain family has made its way in part by making and selling these soft pretzels at market. There is even an old tale that the pretzel shape, those folded arms, was meant to represent a child's arms crossed in prayer. And whether that is true or just a pretty story, I cannot say. But I have always liked it that this humble, twisted bread might carry a picture of prayer in its very shape. The old story goes that long ago a monk shaped scraps of bread dough into the form of a child's arms folded across the chest in prayer, the way children were taught to pray, and gave them to the children who had learned their prayers as a reward, and called them by a name that meant little arms. And from that, so the tale goes, came the pretzel and its name and its shape. Three holes the pretzel has in its twisted shape, and some say they stand for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Whether any of this is history or only a lovely old story handed down, I do not know, but it suits our people, to whom faith and food and daily work are all woven together into one plain life. A bread shaped like prayer, made and sold and eaten by a praying people. There is something fitting in that, something dear, and I think of it every time I twist the dough into that old shape that so many hands have made before mine. So let me show you how they are made. And it begins like so much good baking with a yeast dough. In a bowl, you dissolve one package of active dry yeast, which is about 2¼ teaspoons, in 1½ cups of warm water. Warm, remember, like bath water on your wrist, not hot. Or you will kill the yeast and let it sit a few minutes until it foams, which tells you the yeast is alive and working. Then you stir in 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt and begin adding your flour. You will need about 4 cups of flour in all. You add it a cup or so at a time, stirring until it comes together into a dough. And then you turn it out onto a floured board and knead it. This dough you do knead, unlike my no knead bread, you knead it well for about 5 minutes until it is smooth and elastic and soft, adding just enough flour to keep it from sticking badly. A well kneaded dough makes a chewy, proper pretzel, so do knead it well and do not shortchange it. Then you put it in a grease bowl, cover it, and let it rise in a warm place until it has doubled, about an hour. When your dough has doubled, you punch it down, and now comes the fun part, the shaping. And this is where you get to feel like a real plain pretzel maker. You divide the dough into pieces, about 12 pieces for good sized pretzels. You take each piece and you roll it under your hands into a long rope, a long thin rope, as long as you can make it, 18 inches or 2 feet, rolling it out thin for a thin rope makes a proper pretzel with that good chew. And then you shape it, you make a U with the rope, then you take the two ends and cross them over each other, twist them once, and fold them down onto the bottom of the U and press the ends to stick. That is the pretzel shape. And it takes a try or two to get the feel of it, but soon your hands learn it and you can twist them quick as anything. The way the plain girls do at the market stands, their hands flying. Do not fret if your first ones are not perfect. They will taste just as good crooked as straight. Lay your shaped pretzels on greased or lined baking sheets as you go. And let me pause right here for a moment because I want to ask something of you. If you are enjoying this, if you love learning these old, plain ways of making things by hand, then please do subscribe to my kitchen. I share these recipes every few days, and subscribing means you will be here for the next one. And it truly means the world to me to have you at my table. It takes only a moment and costs you nothing. Now back to our pretzels, for here comes the secret step that makes an Amish soft pretzel what it is. Here is the thing that makes a soft pretzel, a pretzel and not just a twisted roll. And it is a step people are often surprised by. So pay close attention. Before they are baked, the pretzels get a bath, a hot bath in water with baking soda dissolved in it. And this bath is what gives a pretzel its special skin, that glossy brown, chewy crust, and that particular pretzel flavor that nothing else can give. So you bring a wide pot of water to a boil, about 4 cups or so of water, and into it you dissolve a quarter cup of baking soda, stirring it in carefully, for it will foam up. You let it come to a gentle boil, and then you take each shaped pretzel and you lower it into that soda bath for just about 30 seconds, spooning the water over the top, and then you lift it out with a slotted spoon or a skimmer, letting the water drain, and set it back on your baking sheet. The soda bath does something wonderful to the surface of the dough, and when it bakes, that bathed surface turns deep, glossy brown and chewy and takes on that unmistakable pretzel taste. Do not skip the bath. It is the whole difference. A pretzel that has not had its soda bath is just a twisted roll. A pretzel that has had it is a real pretzel. After the bath, while the pretzels are still wet from it, you sprinkle them with coarse salt, the big flaky pretzel salt if you have it, or any coarse salt, a good sprinkle over each one, and the salt sticks to the wet surface. And then into a hot oven, they go. You bake them in a hot oven, 450 degrees, for about 12 to 15 minutes until they are a deep golden brown, glossy, and beautiful. And the moment they come out of the oven, here is the last touch, the touch that makes them irresistible. You brush them all over while they are hot with melted butter. A good brush of melted butter over each hot pretzel, and it soaks in and makes them glossy and rich and tender. And oh, the smell of it, the warm, buttery, yeasty pretzel smell filling your kitchen. There is nothing like it. Brush them well with butter and then eat them warm, for a soft pretzel is at its very best warm from the oven, soft and chewy and buttery and salty. Now let me tell you how they are eaten, for there are a few beloved ways. Plain and warm with butter and salt is perfect, needing nothing. But many love a soft pretzel with mustard, a good yellow or brown mustard for dipping. The sharp mustard against the salty, buttery pretzel is a classic pairing beloved in plain country. Some like them with cheese sauce for dipping. And for the children and the young at heart, you can make them sweet instead of salty, brushing them with butter and rolling them in cinnamon sugar instead of salting them. A half cup of sugar mixed with a teaspoon of cinnamon and a cinnamon sugar soft pretzel is a wonderful treat. So, one dough gives you both the salty pretzels with mustard for some, the sweet cinnamon ones for others, all from the same batch. That is a fine thing for a family or a gathering to make some of each. Let me give you a few tips so yours come out right the first time. First, mind your yeast water, warm and not hot, and wait for the foam, for that is your proof the yeast lives. And if it does not foam, your yeast is dead, and your pretzels will not rise. So start fresh. Second, roll your ropes good and thin and long. For beginners, always make them too thick and short, and a thick rope makes a fat, doughy pretzel, while a thin rope makes that proper, chewy one. Third, do not skip or rush the soda bath, for it truly is the secret. 30 seconds in the boiling soda water, no more and no less. And be careful, for the soda water is hot and it foams, so lower the pretzels in gently. Fourth, salt them the moment they come from the bath while they are still wet, for on a dry pretzel, the salt will not stick. And fifth, butter them the moment they come from the oven while they are hot, for that is when the butter soaks in best. Get those few things right, and your pretzels will be beautiful, glossy, and brown, and chewy, and delicious, as good as any market stands. And one more thing, eat them fresh the day you make them, for a soft pretzel is a thing of the moment, best warm from the oven, and it does not keep well past a day, growing tough and stale, so make them to eat right away, which is no hardship at all, for they vanish quickly whenever I make them. Let me tell you what these pretzels have meant in plain country. They are a market food, first of all, one of the ways plain families earn their living. And if you have ever been to a market in Pennsylvania Dutch country, you have surely seen the pretzel stand, the plain girls twisting the dough with flying hands, the soft pretzels coming warm from the oven, the line of people waiting. It is a sight and a smell I love. The pretzel stand at the market, the young women in their plain dresses and caps, their hands moving so fast and sure at the twisting that you can hardly follow them, rope to pretzel in a blink, dozens and dozens of them, and the warm, buttery smell drawing every passerby, and the pretzels handed over, warm, in a bit of paper to the waiting people. That is a living made honestly with the hands, a skill learned young and practiced until it is swift and beautiful, and it has fed and supported many a plain family down the years. There is dignity in it, in earning your bread, quite literally, by the skill of your own two hands, making something good and selling it warm to grateful people. That is a living made honestly with the hands, a skill learned young and practiced until it is swift and beautiful, and it has fed and supported many a plain family down the years. That is a living, an honest living made with the hands, and pretzels have provided it for many a plain family. But they are a home food too, and a treat made in plain kitchens for the family, for gatherings, for the children as an after school treat, warm and soft and buttery. And they are a food that brings people together. For pretzel making is fun, especially the twisting, and children love to help shape them. Their small hands learning the twist, making funny, crooked ones, and being proud of them. There is joy in a batch of soft pretzels, the making and the shaping and the smell and the warm eating of them. And It is the kind of simple hands-on joy that the plain life is full of and the modern hurried world has too little of. I remember making pretzels as a girl, the whole kitchen given over to it, the long ropes of dough, and my mother's quick hands, twisting them faster than my eye could follow, and my own slow, clumsy attempts beside her, my pretzels coming out crooked and uneven while hers were perfect every time. And she never once made me feel bad about my crooked ones. She would say a crooked pretzel tastes just as sweet, and she would bathe them and bake them right alongside her perfect ones. And when they came out, I could not always tell which had been mine and which hers, for baked and buttered and salted, they all looked and tasted wonderful. And there is a lesson in that too, that we do not have to be perfect to make something good, that a thing made with love and eaten warm among people who love you is a joy, whether it is shaped just right or not. I have made pretzels with my own children and grandchildren the same way, letting them make their crooked ones, praising them, baking them proudly, and watching their faces when they eat a pretzel they twisted with their own small hands. That is worth more than any perfect market pretzel. That is the real reason to make them, not for perfection, but for the joy of the making and the sharing. So this week, make a batch of soft pretzels and do not skip the soda bath, for that is the secret. And brush them with butter hot from the oven and eat them warm. And share them with your family and let the children help with the twisting and make their crooked, happy little pretzels. It is a project, a bit of fun, an afternoon's good work with a delicious reward, and the smell of them baking will fill your home with warmth, and the taste of a fresh, warm, soft pretzel, buttery and salty and chewy, made by your own hands, is a joy that no bought pretzel can ever match. It is plain pleasure at its finest, simple and warm and good, and now it can be yours. And I will tell you, there are few better ways to spend a cold afternoon with children in the house than making a batch of soft pretzels together. The mixing and the rising and the twisting and the bathing and the baking. A whole happy project with a warm, delicious reward at the end and memories made that will outlast the pretzels by 50 years. If you would like this recipe written out with all its amounts and every other recipe, I know all the breads and the treats and the old plain foods my grandmother taught me, they are gathered together in my kitchen field book waiting for you just below this video. 100 recipes from Lancaster County, going all the way back to 1720, written down the way I would tell them to you if you were sitting right here at my table. And if you are new to my kitchen and you have not yet done it, please do subscribe and come and sit with me a while, for I share these old ways every few days, the food that has fed and delighted Plain families for 200 years and more. And I would be so glad to have you back for the next one. There is always room here for one more. Until next time, God bless your hands, God bless your kitchen, and God bless every soul who gathers at your table. Now go and twist some pretzels and fill your home with that wonderful warm smell.